Back everybody to Dan Has Fun with me, Daniel. We're doing more Humankind today. Last episode we got a couple of outposts going. So we have Daramad to our south and Wolof to our north. This episode we're going to start getting our settlement up here going. And what I'm going to do, just so I don't forget, I'm just going to grab one of these longbows, transfer it to a separate tile, like that, and it is going to go settle a location over here. Now, I don't know which tile is going to be the best, so I'm just going to temporarily have it come over here first of all, and then we'll work out which of these tiles works best. But we're going to do that while I remember. So we're going to be going all in effectively on outposts. We have an agrarian start because of our population increasing, which is awesome. How are we doing on fame? We're still in the lead. So we're great on that front. We're going to be pretty close because of our expansionist stars to getting another one. We're going to be a little bit behind on science. We're not producing as much science as I would like, but I actually think what we should be going for first is more influence. Having had a look at it, it's going to be useful for turning these outposts into cities, and it's going to be good for getting our progress too. We've just researched flintlock, so we have bastions if we want to, just better walls. Musketeers, which are very similar to arbalists. And then we have the man of war, which is just a big ship. We're not going to need a big ship. What is interesting though, is we have a regiment over here that I wonder if they're going to try and settle a city over here, or an outpost. I don't really want to attack them though. They finally got to Pleasant. I'd rather not attack them. I only have 55 war support too. I'm actually losing war support as well. They are now at Pleasant with me. I don't have any demands. I'm not going to accept theirs. I do have grievances, though. We could demand that they sign an ally me. I don't think so. We could get them to try and give us Luluban because of the influence side of things. What are they using for military units right now? Samurai, which are dangerous. Great swordsmen and crossbowmen. So they're kind of equivalent to me, really, in terms of military. But they can do 7 stacks. Can I do 7, or can I only do 6 stacks? Yeah, I can only do 6 stacks. I think it should, when you hover over this, it should tell you which technology you need to do this. We don't have the tech for it. I'm not that worried about the fact that that's the case, but it is what it is. I'm going to leave it alone and see what he does. I'd rather he not try and develop that outpost, but you never know. Kerma needs something to do. How is it doing? Its population's 3 away from maximum. It's making some food, so I'm not going to prioritize food right now. They do have 11 research per population, though, so we might want to try and get more science going on. They don't have really a lot more population to put into that yet, though. I'm just going to do one science location, one science center, which will actually give us faith as well. I want to get the influence simultaneously, so I guess I'll put it here. And then we will get a hamlet, because that just gives us a few more slots and a ton more food, so that's bingo bango. And then we'll go for science buildings. So we'll do that next turn. Obviously, we're going to be having to change our queue a lot if we end up in a scenario where they actually end up being attacked.
I don't mean to nag, but the marks one
so you're actually losing population.
From malnutrition.
You are, yeah, a little bit of minus food. It's building the Taj Mahal at the moment, very, very slowly. So how about we go for the farmers' quarters first, and maybe a hamlet. Actually, we're going to put the hamlet first. only takes 10 turns to build. They don't have a ton of industry in this location either. This is pretty much just a purely money location in Nemossos. But every little will help. And as a result, given the fact they're so money inclined, I'm tempted to get one of our unique buildings down. But I have to be careful because obviously this location is very... You can't just put that building on a crappy snow tile is really what the problem is. So you're going to lose some type of resource regardless of where you put it. So losing a couple of hammers is probably the least painful thing to get. Okay, so we have a population gain in our outpost. Nemossos is apparently still losing. They did set up. That's really frustrating. Okay, fine. Where's our crossbow? Or longbow, sorry. There's no point doing that anymore at this point then. I'm actually just going to bring it over here. The AI had the exact same thought that I did. Luckily, I beat him to the punch on 3 of these 4 locations. I'm actually hoping what will happen here, because he's going to be flanked on all sides by my culture. Maybe we'll get lucky and he will not be able to keep it. Maybe it'll start rebelling. Do we have a good location here? (9-5) isn't terrible, so we'll go there. It's not great. That'll be... I don't know how to pronounce that. Ataiu. Don't know. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced. I don't know how to pronounce it. So, we're just going to go with something like that. Bless you. Ataiu. And then we have another event. Overseas interests. An era of grand commerce is upon the Empire. Yes, it is. We're at 336 gold per turn. That's not bad. Trade routes riddle the land, with wares fashioned in one corner destined for markets in the other. Yet it is not only overland that goods find customers. Now merchant companies cross entire oceans to link markets and make handsome profits. How do you wish to respond to their growing power? So we can just accept it. You know, they're making money. Good for them. If we do that, we get a little bit less stability, actually, but more money in general. We can do the exact opposite and nationalize it, or we can just tax it. We're going to accept it. I don't mind making a bit more money and sacrificing a little bit of stability right now. We've got pretty stable cities. A cat needs something new to build. We're actually going to put that button in. I didn't know we had a land unit spawn. I didn't know that button existed. Maybe that's new since the last time I played this game. Again, it's being updated all the time, right? So it's definitely worth checking these things. Mortars are helpful, but right now, honestly, I'm more worried about just getting attacked with really high strength units. I also... Settlers are interesting because you can create a population with a city with 3 population. That's interesting. Had I have known at the time that that was an option, I probably would have done that, but meh. That's okay. We're learning all the time. We're learning as we go. So what do we want to build in the meantime? He doesn't really have a lot of cavalry units. He's going to be using... Well, there's going to be impies, and now there's going to be Ottoman unique units. They're really slow to build, but I actually might build just a few mortars. Just so if we end up attacking them, we have a better time trying to defuse the siege. Seuss is now in a much better situation when it comes to food. I still think you could probably do with a little bit more food. You do have some rivers, so I guess we'll get that in. Doesn't do a huge amount of research here, so I don't think the unique building is the priority. Just 4 flat influence isn't huge either. Honestly, I think we now go for tourney fields to make industry costs for units even cheaper. Then we can start actually getting a couple of military units out, just so we can make sure that we're not going to get just ambush attacked. I don't see any more Ottoman units, though. I guess now they're no longer at war with... Oh no, there's a stack here. What on earth are these majestic creatures? Jaguar warriors. Okay, they look like an upgraded version, effectively, of the Gaelic units that they had in the past, because they have fervor as their ability. Well, let's hope they don't attack our vassal directly, because otherwise we're going to be in for a fun time trying to protect them as well. We will see. How many turns? 4 turns for this to get set up. Okay. They turned their little outpost out here into a city immediately. That's interesting. Very interesting. We do have more naval power, I suspect, than them, so worst comes to worst, we can kind of choke him out that way. Nossos is doing the food in, food out combination. Apparently we can ask for a grievance.
What do you want?
To get Amsterdam. We can also propose a diffusal. But that's just not going to happen. How can I refuse demands here if they're at maximum war support? I'm going to refuse and see if they declare war on me.
There's just no way to make this work. I do not accept.
So much heat, so little light.
Nope. They did not. Okay. Weird. I thought they'd take any opportunity to attack me, and I was going to say we can flip into that time whenever, but nope. Not happening. So we don't need more hamlets here. At this point, well, here's the thing. Haojing can have a population of up to 49, and it's really not that close. But it would never get to 49 right now based on how many farmers it could have and how efficient they are. So maybe we'll get one more farmer's quarter for the time being. So we do have the stability, but we have to be a little bit careful because they're not at 100% stability anymore. So we don't want to build a ton of that. We might just want to build one of our unique buildings in conjunction. Do that. Just to make sure our stability stays really, really strong. And then we're going to get science buildings. Because we do want to get our population up. Especially because they're getting 11 science per population if they're researchers. So that's pretty good. It's not bad. But then Haojing is probably going to build a few military units after that. Because right now it is not very well defended. And if the Ottomans did attack our vassal, odds are they would plow straight through and come for our capital. So we don't want to make sure we're prepared for that. Fenhao has run out of stuff to build. It's producing a lot of science, but it's losing food. So you are going to get that farm building and then get a farm district. And well, then we will work out what we want to do from there. Pangaea is also not very well defended. It's got a couple of units in it, but really that's about it. Okay, so this outpost, yep, is now created, which is awesome. We definitely want to get a harbour down. Like that. This doesn't have any resources we can deal with right now at all. It has coal, but we can't actually do anything with it currently. So we're just going to have to deal. The other thing I want to think about ahead of time is to do with our city cap. And apparently you can't search by that, so we're just going to have to find it organically, I guess. Weird. Weird that you can't search by text that increase city cap. That seems like an oversight to me, but what are you going to do? Just got to build a star. That is awesome. We are building a lot of districts right now because we're realizing that our population's obviously growing. And we don't actually have everything we need to make sure that they don't just immediately starve. So we're good with that. It is going to be a bit of a shame that we can't get this yet without having a huge penalty. Nemostos apparently is losing population again. Is it just doing the Seuss swing where it goes backwards and forwards on food? Yes, exactly what it's doing. But we are building a hamlet. Hamlet's actually going to be this turn. So that's absolutely fine. We should stop getting the notification for them. Feng Hao is building for food as well, so we should stop getting those soon enough. Seuss. So your food scenario is now significantly better. It's only gaining 2 a turn, but it is better. Do we want to do one more farming quarters? I guess we should. 23 more food is actually fine. So we'll do one more, and then we want to start doing, I think, military units here. This is not the place to build mortars. I feel like it needs... Well, the thing about mortars, they take a long time to make, but they only cost 1 population. I guess it's because most of the actual building of a mortar comes into building the mortar, rather than the guy or gal using to man the thing. Whereas, say, halberdiers only take 2 turns to make, but you need 3 population to do so. And then, obviously, the unique horse unit we had when we were the Mughals is the kind of combination of both. It needs a lot of turns, and it needs a couple of population points. And then we do have the option of the musketeers too. They're basically just arquebusiers. No, I think we're gonna go get 3 halberdiers. That'll cost us what, like 9 population. But it should grow back very, very quickly because of the fact we're getting all these food buildings in. So that's what we'll do. Edo-Japanese have forgiven us. We have another event, the Hard Knock Life. Though children can be potent, that's weird, not to mention cheap labourers, such lives tend to be nasty, brutish and short. Decreeing an education for all would dramatically increase their long-term prospects, but the factories howl that losing so much of their workforce would be financially ruinous. In addition, there are those who would be outraged by the interference that compulsory school attendance would entail. It's time to choose a side. So we actually get civic changes potentially here. So if we go for compel and say compulsory schooling for every child, we end up getting science investment. Again, we lose money and gain science, but it changes how our civic interaction works. Compromise is going to change it as well, in the same way as it happens. So you mandate an education for every child, but let school remain optional. It means that you actually gain money and lose science, which is interesting. Or we can concede and get forced labour, which is more production and less stability. This might actually be beneficial, but I don't want to do it thematically speaking. If we go into the civic screen just for a moment. Right now, we haven't picked anything. We can't actually pick this civic. So this makes me think that if we do this, it gives us science. I wonder if we can pick that civic as a result without having to spend any influence. Because if we are, I'm going to compel. Yep, that did not cost me any influence whatsoever.
Well, something to be said for
So we should now produce a heck of a lot more science. I wish you could see science in this top right screen. You can see your influence, you can see your gold, you can see a lot of things, but you can't see your science, which I think is a bit weird. You actually have to go into either the text screen fully to see the empire progression, or at least hit the science button, and then you see your research per turn. I feel like it should be up here. Not just because that's what civilization does, but it just makes more sense. We can now build dragoons, which we are probably not going to do, let's be totally honest. They're rubbish in a siege, and they can't move and attack at the same time for anything like the other units of that type. So, that doesn't do it for me. That's fine. Do we want to start... I wonder if the influence penalty is exponential. So right now, you'll notice in the top right corner, we have 7 cities out of 6. But we're only losing 10 influence as a result. I'm curious, and I'm just going to do it and see what happens. I'm curious if you do another city over, if it's 20 or 100 influence, you lose a turn. I also don't know which one I want to make into a city in case you can't then do anything. I think I'm going to make this into the city. So if we do this, it's going to put us up to 8 of 6. Oh, we lose 120 influence per turn. That's pain. So that gives us an expansionist star. Can you... Okay. So yeah, you can't do it without an adjacent city or outpost. So what that means is we're going to keep this as a city. But these 2 outposts are probably going to stay as outposts probably forever. Because they don't connect. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that you can have an ocean here with nothing in it that just acts as a blocker, but that's okay. What we have to do then is either increase our city cap or we have to start absorbing cities together. I'm already tempted to do that with Kerma and Napata because they're both pretty meh cities. I don't rate them very much at all. So I'm okay with doing that. Which one do we want to have as the main city, though? Napata has the potential to be bigger, but is significantly worse than Kerma for... not significantly worse than Kerma for stats. I'd actually say, if anything, Napata might be slightly better. I'm going to absorb that. So, these 2 are now together. What does that do to Napata's stats? It does horrible things to their food. So they're losing 207 food a turn. So we clearly have to deal with that now. That's a boost of 24 food. That's a boost of 24 food. We have to be careful too because of the stability side of things. We don't want to hemorrhage our stability. We do want to get... Oh wow, that hamlet produces a massive amount of food. That does not. So what we want to do is get the hamlet up to the front for a moment. Get it up to the front. I don't know why the drag interface is so bad. There we go. So that will certainly help. But then we're definitely going to have to get down at least a couple of our unique buildings, because otherwise we're going to end up with stability issues. Which, needless to say, we do not want to do. We also want to make sure we get grain silos really, really quickly. Actually, I'm going to drag that up front as well. And then we're going to put at least the farm... This interface is terrible. Oh boy. Okay. We'd like to make some money if we could. Just so we can get this dealt with. But right now, we're just going to have to accept. We're going to probably lose a few populations. And then, in the end, that'll come out smelling of roses. As for our city over here, we want to try and... Wow, this... It makes you realize how bad this land is compared to the other stuff out there when you see some of the numbers we're pulling. So clearly what we want to do originally and initially is get some farm quarters down. Although there's not even good farming locations out here, really, is there? Then we need to get plus 31 production. That's fantastic. Before I get a second one over there. And then what we want to do is get a garrison. And we want to definitely get... We don't build these very often, the commons quarters, but that will certainly help. And we're going to start there. And then kind of come back in a few turns' time and see how it's developing. So we're back down to 7 of 6. So we're still losing 10 influence per turn, but we're not hemorrhaging in quite the same way. But yeah, you really do. Wow, I'd like to know how much you lose when you're 3 over. Do you lose like 1,000 influence a turn? Oh boy. Bet you lose a lot. Oh, there's a... Why are you guys over here with Mongol hordes? Interesting.
This
Nobody's at war, though, right?
bad
And
time.
this time I'm looking at the right-hand side of the screen, looking at their relationship, not mine.
My time is short.
Can't believe I did that and then didn't realise for like 10 minutes.
Tell me what is on your mind.
Yeah, nobody's at war right now. The Edo-Japanese are becoming the Austro-Hungarians, rather. That's fine. We're not playing the religion game, we don't care. We're mashing through a few turns here because there's not a huge amount going on. Really, what we're trying to
Whatever you
do...
intend to produce. With
Well,
15
apparently got
makers'
15
quarters, I
makers'
guarantee
quarters now.
There will be a lot of it.
Yeah, we're getting some population loss, unsurprisingly. How is... Zulus are now jealous, I don't know why. I thought they'd even turn into the Ottomans, maybe that was somebody else. It's fine. So, for these guys, they're still hemorrhaging food pretty badly. But we can afford to at least build the hamlets so they're not hemorrhaging quite as aggressively. We could sacrifice 31 population to do that. I'm almost tempted to do it, but not quite yet. But what that does mean is that actually I think I'll sacrifice some population. No, it's only 31 population for 5 turns is just nonsense. So we'll get one farmer's quarters in anyway. And then that should at least reduce the amount of hemorrhaging of population we're doing. Then we'll let them finish building that wonder. I think that's a nice fair compromise. Only some people die. I don't think I've ever seen that relationship system. So they're now bound.
You have my ear. For a time.
Huh.
This
Well,
proposition
that works for
should
me.
be in all our best interests.
I'll ally with them for now. That is a lot easier for me than anything else.
interested.
Maybe that'll
Not at
stop them
all.
with their demands. Because we still can't do a huge amount. We can...
So I see.
Can we trade? Apparently not. We'll see. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to be allied to them is I'm hoping that Black goes after them, and then I can come in defensively, and we can kind of wipe a load of their units, and it'll just be a bit easier. Wow, just look at the cost to absorb cities at this point. So, Feng Hao, are you still losing food? No, but you have so much more population space that you will not ever be able to achieve at this point. So I guess we're still going to want to keep building for food. Get a couple more of these districts in there. That should at least help. We don't have anything else we can do for food. Yeah, we can't get the fishery because it's useless. It's landlocked. That's no good. Doing a feast just gives you +5 food. That's rubbish. That's not effective at all. I guess at this point then you might as well go for your science building. So I didn't realize Feng Hao's pumping out 319 science a turn. That's massive. Oh, and our game is going to end in 30 turns. Have we really plowed through the game that quickly, eh? So we have 30 turns left. What do we want to do then? I'm going to think about it, and we'll come back next time. So I appreciate you watching the video. If you want to see more, like I said, happily subscribe, you know. Would appreciate it greatly. Leave any comments you want to at all. Appreciate your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching the video.